On the surface, lifestyle lean is about leaning up the physical body. But underneath the transformation photos and the amazing physical bodies of the founders, Jess and Mark Ross, is the deep desire for people to lean up their life and discover ways to make life and keeping healthy much more simple. They talk about their mission for people to create a lean lifestyle that may in turn lead to a leaner body, but a healthier way of living, moving and consuming. Welcome to the Anything is Possible podcast. Today, I am with Jess and Mark Ross, the dynamic married duo who founded Lifestyle Lean and Lifestyle Lean Athleisure in 2020. And they are both on a mission to get people in the best shape of their lives. Now, the aim of this podcast is to inspire people that anything is possible for them at any age. And in this podcast, we're not going to only inspire people that fitness and well-being is achievable in every decade, but also how to build a global brand, add another business into the mix and work successfully as a couple. There's a lot of skepticism, as we know, around transformation packages that everybody sees online. Yeah. We see the bronze photo shoot and we see the abs popping out, but then often we see the weight gain after, don't we, when they've had this photo shoot. Now, on the surface, and I've been honest with you guys, that is what Lifestyle Lean could look like, but you say it is a lot more than that. So can you explain why Lifestyle Lean is so unique?
Absolutely. Yes. Where do we start? So again, people see the six packs and they see us push that out because, you know, at the end of the day, people do want that, but that's only the start from what we do. It's the much bigger picture where we want to transform their whole life. And obviously the body is the driver. We've got to focus on the body. The body builds structure, the body builds routine. We've got to put the plans in place. But then that builds an environment so they can be the best version of themselves, be it the best father, the best mother, the best partner, the best businessman. And that's what we delve into. So we do the body first, and then we look into life. We set targets, as you know, we set goals. And we want to see these men and women develop into the ultimate version of themselves for every walk of life.
That's it. And unlike other programs out there that are very much short-term focused on like losing weight and getting those abs, like that is for us just the very start of someone's journey. Really where we want our clients to be and where our clients get to is that they are obviously lean in the best shape that they can be in body and physique, but they are actually pushing performance and fitness goals and working towards, you know, progressing far past just dieting and losing weight. So our journey is mapped out from the start. The start is to firstly get in the best shape you can be in physically, but then we work on really progressing past that, focusing on performance goals, focusing on strength goals, and that is why those that join us often end up becoming like athletes really with their transformations.
We obviously we do know there's lots of different programs in the industry. I'm not bad mouthing anyone because they get a certain result, but their certain result is just to get them lean. Then we have so many people coming to us with issues of this coaching company did not help me, I rebounded, I yo-yoed, I did all that. The photo shoot is the first of 5 phases with our program. It's the very first thing. Like we don't even really care about it that much. We just tick it off. It's the first one, and then we build through maintenance, then we build through performance, then we build through lifestyle, then we build. There's so many different levels. So that in a nutshell is why we think what we do is different to everyone else.
So you say the 5 stages, and I guess from talking to you, that first stage, which is that like getting as lean as you can, that feels in a way quite metaphorical in the sense, are you basically stripping people back down to basics, not only physically but mentally at that point, do you think?
Absolutely. So just people think about lifestyle lean, they think it's about the body. It's actually not. It's the lifestyle, and it's got to be, and this is why they keep their results. So the first phase in lifestyle lean, yes, we look at calories, we look at nutrition, movement and output and structure, but we ultimately look at like what can they take away from their lives that's a negative, and we obviously push into healthy habits, etc., but we pull back back on bad environments, on bad relationships, and obviously you've seen that we do tons of education on this. There's a lot to learn in the first 90 days. There's a hell of a lot of personal change going on, and that's where we see most clients come to us, where they're at like a little bit of a pivot point in their lives where they kind of know that they're in the wrong community or environment, or they're going down the wrong path, and they know they're worth a lot more. And that's when we grab them and we kind of like again, we always get the 6-pack, even though they might think that's what they want. We give it them, that's fine, we know that, but ultimately we do know deep down that they want something else, and that's why we're always giving them further education.
That's it. And what we're doing is really delving into the personal issues that a client comes to us for, because if a client is in a place where they are unhappy in physique, overweight, then we need to figure out the reasons for why that has happened. And often this stems from habits that have been in place from years and years, and even maybe childhood. So a lot of what we are doing on the program is actually looking into people in terms of their backgrounds, their beliefs, helping educate them on how to make new habits and changes in their lifestyles. And that in itself is, a challenge. It takes time to do that. And that's why, again, we're different, because what we provide is the education on like really learning about that for yourself. Because when an individual gets on top of that and they are actually understanding their triggers and reasons for their habits that they had, that is then how we create that long-lasting change, because they've actually worked on it and they've changed that for the future. Like
I said, the goal for us isn't to get someone in shape in 12 weeks, it's so that we bump into them in 12 years and they're in even better condition and having the best life they can.
So obviously there's a lot of delving to do there, and I know that you do it one-to-one, although obviously some of it's online, etc. What is that process? So somebody's reached that pivot point, and we often say like it's that whole thing, isn't it, that Tony Robbins says, you're running, you get to a point where the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of actually forcing the discipline, the routines you need to change. So if somebody's got to that point, they contact you, what is the first thing that you do to gauge like where they're at? Because I'm guessing you don't want someone that just wants a quick fix, right?
Correct. So we have to have a phone call. We have to have a phone call. We don't take everybody on the program. We really don't. We don't take on guys who just want to get shredded for a beefer, or that's not what we do. We're the deeper stuff, the bigger stuff.
So on that call, we really get to understand kind of like the struggles behind where they are now and what they've tried before, and really understand about kind of how we can support them and what support they actually need. And that's how we then determine like the time it's going to take, and what specific coaching they actually need to get to their goals.
And those questions that you ask, and just to say, I am doing the program, but like literally I'm a fully paying customer. This is nothing to do with the podcast. Like I think I'd even asked you before I came on the program. So I think how I felt, you are nervous about that first phone call because you don't want to be railroaded into something that you don't want to do. What if I say no, blah, blah, blah. But I also think that what I felt, and I don't know if you've had this feedback of other people, is I felt heard, and everything that it was like Jess had gone inside my head and was asking me, I can't really describe it, but it was like nobody had questioned me like that before. And how as a team have you come up, I know you have a lot of coaching yourselves, but how have you been able to like get so good at asking the right questions?
I think a lot of it is because what we want to do is on that call is often what we have, and the feedback we have is that we actually get to know you so deeply, even with like a 30-minute call, because of the questions that we ask. And those questions that we ask, you probably have never been asked those questions before. But again, this is where we're really looking at your life and where you are and where you want to be. And those deep questions are actually so important. But no one actually, I guess, would ever question you in that way, or would ever have the confidence to question you in that way. But what we're helping you achieve is to take things further than you've ever been before. So that's why we need to ask those questions
exactly.
to understand, because that's where, if those questions aren't asked, then you can kind of stay the same and not know where you need to do to progress. Whereas those deep questions actually really get you to think about yourself and think about what path am I on and where do I need to go next, and what is the change that I need to create.
If we ask surface level questions, you'll get surface level results.
And so somebody agrees to go with you, and you have these sort of 5 phases that you go through. So you're going to get people in the leanest they've been, not only physically but mentally, which we can dive a bit more into a bit later. And then what I think the thing that is really interesting is this then the maintenance and the reverse diet, which I'd never heard about until I certainly hadn't heard about reverse diet until I met you guys. So talk us through that, because you say that's the missing piece.
So this is the most crucial part, and this is where people are going wrong, and especially with a lot of other programs out there, there isn't that focus on like maintenance, because just as it takes time to build the habits in place to drop body fat, it also takes time to build in the habits that are needed to maintain your body. And this is how we prevent that rebound from happening. And for us, like, that situation of losing weight then putting it back on again is a complete failure. Like, that should not be happening. And that just shows that if that is happening, the right education hasn't been instilled there. And the maintenance side of us is so key. So what we do is educate on the full process, so everyone, when they come on board, they can see that the goal isn't just to lose the weight that we've set in terms of targets or goals. The goal is actually to lose this weight and maintain this weight as part of your everyday. And that is crucial for us. And so we have education on that from when someone starts straight away with us. They can actually learn about maintenance from the get-go and learn about what that is like, and what you can be excited for when you get to that part of the journey.
There should be 3 diets. There should be one diet that brings you down. There should be one diet that pushes back up so you don't rebound. And the third diet should be going into a lifestyle where you're not tracking food and you're eating healthy foods and all sorts. But you need to go through each phase one by one. And then when you finish, when you've completed lifestyle lean kind of thing, you've completed it. You're on your own in life. You're never going to rebound. You're feeling lean, feeling healthy, feeling happy, never counting calories, eating loads of food. Like, that's when we've won. We've not won when we're in the diet phase. That's just a get shit done phase. Like anyone can lose weight. I could say to someone that's 10,000 pounds, go and lose 10 kilograms. They would know how to do it. Anyone can lose weight. It's not about that. It's about maintaining muscle, controlling calories, making sure you only lose body fat, and then pushing through the other side to make sure that you're this complete, healthy version of you.
So it almost gives people like the excitement, because they just need to get the diet phase done, and then they can start to build the lifestyle.
we try and say, like, the diet phase is not the fun phase. People, especially girls, I think there's a thing where it's like, people like to say they're on a diet. I don't know why. I would hate to say I'm on a diet. Like, the guys hate saying I'm on a diet. The exciting part is being lean and then eating loads of food, not gaining weight, going on holiday, socialising, pushing performance, pushing PBs. That's what we try and get people excited about. It's kind of like, get the first phase done and then get into the good phase.
And what we really try and help instill and educate is that for a lot of our clients, yes, they've been on other programs before, they've tried various diets, and they've lost weight but then rebounded. But this time round, like, everyone that joins us, this is a time now where we conquer this properly. We lose this weight, we get you into maintenance, and then you actually start to progress and get excited for more exciting goals in your life. Because like, for us, like, losing weight is not an exciting goal. That is just a means to getting you to that maintenance. So we can start working on more exciting things in life.
So it is the kind of losing weight, it's the stripping back of body fat, so that when you go back up, you're hopefully building with muscle rather than
With muscle gain can take 7 to 9 months, and then whatever muscle you gained, you might have gained a little bit of body fat, so then you go through another cut. Then they want to do a marathon, they want to do triathlon, they want to do a fitness contest, they want to do, and it's just accountability. I've had a coach mentor since I was 25. Like, I'm always going to have a mentor. I want to get where I want to get to in life in the fastest way possible. I'm not leaving it to chance. I want someone to tell me what to do, when to do it, and it's not even a thought of investment. It's like, no, like, that makes me go faster in life.
That makes me progress. That makes me feel good. And that's why our clients, often stay with us from, years and years. It's not, our clients know that this is not a short-term thing. And when they're actually in the program and they can see everyone else and all the results that they've had years later, doing marathons, pushing fitness events, that's what gets them excited.
And So you obviously this is about anything is possible at any age. Talk to us about your oldest client then.
Yeah, so my oldest client is Janet.
Yeah.
She's 69 and she started with me because her daughter in lockdown actually did a transformation with me, and she got in incredible shape. Her whole family could see the changes in her. So recently, about sort of 6-7 months ago, her daughter contacted me and said, I do feel my mum would really benefit from joining Lifestyle Lean. She's in a really low place in terms of health, in terms of confidence, and we were actually really worried about her. I spoke to Janet and she was, at real rock bottom. She had really high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and she was in a place where she was saying that she didn't know how much longer she was going to have to live. Like she thought if she wasn't able to do something soon, this could go seriously wrong. So she got in touch because of her daughter and the results that she'd had. So now sort of 6-7 months in, Janet has completely flipped things around.
It's ridiculous.
She has,
Honestly.
she feels like a new woman. She's lost over 10 kilograms in weight. Her family are all absolutely loving the changes that they're seeing in her. She says she's glowing again. She said she's never felt so good in her body. Fitness is the best it's been. The other day she was doing
You sent me
hill
a video
sprints.
of her doing hill sprints the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no one who can have excuses.
No, and like her whole family is just so happy for her. The best part is that she's got a granddaughter, and now she feels that she's going to be able to play with the granddaughter and hopefully see the granddaughter grow up, and she'll have a longer hopefully life because of Lifestyle Lean. Not only that, because she now has built her fitness so much and health so much, confidence is up. She's also going to be doing our next photo shoot. So in 7 weeks' time, she's doing her first ever fitness shoot at 69.
Oh, that is amazing.
So it just shows you how much life can change. When you actually decide that you're not going to let this continue anymore, you want more for yourself. How you can completely 360 something from being in a place where she said, a couple of years' time she wasn't sure she was going to be alive, to now in the next 8 weeks doing a photo shoot in her best ever shape. It's incredible.
We've had Train with Joan McDonald's on the podcast. She started training at 76, and it's just, that's what Anything is Possible is all about. And I'm so passionate that people think that this development, this self-improvement is kind of mid-20s to mid-40s, and it's so not. And we need to get the message out there that whatever age you can change. It's that thing of people think this is it for me, and you hear, that ship sail.
That's
this,
it.
Massive.
Someone said the other day, it's coming to us all, and it's oh, come on, guys.
Mad.
I always say, and I said it at the conference, let's be optimistic and say we live till 100. How many lives can we have within that time? How many changes can we make? That should be super exciting. So I'm so chuffed that that's what you're pushing.
You can reinvent yourself at any age. You can.
I get what it's about age then. Again, I've had guys at 60 odd and 21 and whatever. Most guys will come around about 45 and they'll be like, I'm ready to get back to being me. You know what I mean? After pushing family, pushing business kind of thing, and they do it. And the fitter
and
at
actually go further.
The fitter
at
45 than they were at 25. Absolutely.
Definitely. And so let's get into a bit of the nitty-gritty facts and figures for our audience. So your program, as do many, focuses on a high level of protein in your diet. Please tell people that don't understand protein why protein is so important. You don't need to convince me.
No, we'll keep it simple for this one. So obviously protein does help muscle development. Now, when we talk about muscle development, nobody's going to grow muscles. I've been trying to grow muscles since I was 15. I've been trying. It's the hardest thing in the world, okay? You need to overeat and do less activity. You're not going to grow muscle, okay? So first things first, you need to maintain muscle. Just been speaking about age then. Muscle mass is the number one thing for longevity, all right? It's proven, okay? The person who's stronger and has more muscle mass as they grow will be around here longer. So that is the be all and end all. Never mind your skin, your hair, your nails. Protein is for everything. We just have it in your diet. Don't question it. Just have it in your diet. Obviously, the more natural sources, the better. Organic, the better kind of thing. Of course, we all know that. But the more protein you can have in your diet is the better.
Yeah. And what about people who've just had bowl food, which is vegan food, on the podcast? How do you encourage people that are vegetarian or vegan to get as much protein in a diet as possible?
Yeah, so there's ways to supplement. Like
Substitutes.
I'm not going to say we would love people to be vegan or vegetarian, because we do believe in so much of natural protein sources, but we have a lot of vegetarians and vegans in our practice, so it's no issue. Getting in shape is no issue. Like it's just down to what they like to eat, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If they like to eat meat alternatives, that's fine. If they want to eat whey protein alternatives, that is fine. It's what we do say is that it's harder in a way that you can't just go to the shop and get 30-gram chicken breast kind of thing, but it's absolutely doable. I've had some of my best transformations when it was like lockdown time, when it was like everyone the vegan was cool kind of to do. So with a lot of people then do it, so there's no issue in getting to a certain point. It's harder because of life.
It's not as easy to get hold of. In a recent podcast, we talked about fad dieting ruining people's metabolism. Can that be fixed? So somebody's been yo-yoing for years, and they do the 5.2 whatever it is, and then they do Weight Watchers. Can it be fixed? Can their metabolism be fixed?
Yeah. So this is a brilliant question, because in terms of what you said there about the yo-yoing and the fad diets, and like the metabolism isn't the issue here. You can still, regardless of what you've done before, whether it's been a fad diet or whatever program you've tried, you can still lose weight, you can still lose body fat, and that simply comes down to being in that calorie deficit. So there's no kind of worry of thinking that my metabolism is ruined.
You can't break your metabolism kind of thing. Like if you was, there wouldn't be people starving starving kind of thing. I want to say that, but ultimately, like, unless you've been diagnosed with a thyroid issue, which most people pretend they have or think they have, you're not. Like,
so a lot of people will look at the think it's metabolism that is the problem, when actually that isn't the issue. It's actually
they like to say that.
It's actually figuring like, okay, let's look at the energy balance here. Okay, let's look at your energy in, calories in and output, and what we need to understand is like what your level is to be in that calorie deficit. So if you have tried different things in the past and you're thinking my metabolism is shot, it likely isn't that.
It's just because you're just trying with the wrong diets over and over, because it's mostly quick fixes. If I was to say to you, right, it's going to take 1 year, but you're going to look amazing, but it's going to take a year, they'll go, not for me. No, it's crazy how fast the year goes, kind of thing.
And we've had so many like guys and girls come to us before, thinking that they've ruined the metabolism, but then getting on the plan, it's not been it's not been anything to do with the metabolism. It's actually just been that the calorie deficit hasn't been set right.
And why does what you eat matter? So just for people who like literally don't know anything, why is 1,700 calories worth of toast, chocolate, glass of wine, is that going to get you the same result as 1,700 calories worth of meat, vegetables,
so the way that we
fruit?
the way that we to explain it is that we don't want you to lose weight, we want you to lose fat. Now you will lose weight, that's the key, but body fat is the key. We need to maintain muscle, lose body fat, right? So if someone was eating a really, I'm just going to throw 1,500 calories out, in fact, whatever, 2,000 calories. 2,000 calories of healthy food with good amount of protein. The protein is the main thing. If they are in a calorie deficit at 2,000 calories, they will lose body fat because there's protein in there. Okay? If it's 2,000 calories of pizza with no protein in it, you would lose muscle. Okay, so the main thing is being in a calorie deficit with protein. And yes, you can have a bit of bad food in there. That's no problem. It's called flexible dieting. It's something we promote. The healthier your diet, the better you're going to feel. So can you have a Snickers and a protein shake and this and that and lose body fat? Yes, you can. You're going to feel crap.
We
don't promote it. Good. Can you do it on a weekend now and again? Yeah, of course you can. That's how we promote it.
Okay, and what about so with regards to food, obviously and I love a lot of the kind of low calorie brands out there. We've got Gym Kitchen coming on the podcast, we've got Skinny Foods and all of that. But obviously a lot of the lower calorie foods are processed. And then we've had people on the podcast that talk about the benefits of olive oil. So for example, Tonya Buxton, she swears by 2 tablespoons of olive oil a day, but obviously that's quite a lot of calories and not much, she's seen it from a very kind of Mediterranean based, holistic, pure foods diet.
Absolutely.
What's your view on like processed versus higher fat, higher calorie?
Absolutely. So 100%. When you are in the first phase, remember, first phase fat loss, right? Very, 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 very hard to track fat. Okay? liquid is very hard to track, okay? The simplest diet in the world is when we control the fat. Now, everything we give is, you get absolutely, you need to hit a certain amount of fat in everyone's diet for hormone health, okay? We make sure everyone hits that, because the first thing, okay? Then you've got a protein target and you've got a carbohydrate target, which we don't even tell the clients really, because it's too much info for them at the moment. But what we give them is like a sample is a perfect diet. When they go through a phase of maintenance and then performance, 100% high fat, high carbs, high protein, natural foods, everything. It's just a lot easier if we can stick to a simple diet. And we don't promote processed foods. And in the diets that we give, it's probably foods. maybe a whey protein here and there, which is minimally processed kind of thing.
You can create a nice low calorie meal, and it's not going to be processed. It's just going to contain whole foods.
Absolutely.
Your protein, your carbs, your veggies.
I have so much fat now, so much red meat, so much everything, but I'm not in a diet phase. So it's just kind of like make it easy as you can to drop down. If you used to say, I'm not going to track calories and I'm going to eat just low carb and high fat, it will not work. It'll be the hardest thing in the world to get down. You won't know your calories. You'll second guess yourself. Like, trust me, when you can track your food, it's the easiest thing.
Oh, I mean, I was, I don't know what everybody else is on, because it's different for your your body type. But like and just to give people, like, I have carbs at every meal now, whereas I used to have maybe 1 to 2 meals a day. So like today I was in like a massive rush. And M&S have just brought out this absolutely gorgeous like chicken brioche. That would have been, before I joined Lifestyle Lean, like that would have been bad, naughty food to me. And it actually isn't at all. Totally fit. They were laughing at me because I decided broccoli with it because I can't eat that veg. And so it's that mindset now. So actually I really look forward to the food because it's so different to what I had before, and I love it. So
and there's nothing restrictive. You can have whatever you want. Like, listen, if one day you want, you know what, I'm just going to save my calories, I'm going to have a pizza in the day, and that'll make you happy for that day. Cool, no problems. All right. It's just that obviously we know in the long term we'd rather be healthy and consistent.
It's education, because I think like if I was on the go before, I'd probably grab a couple of grenades, whereas now I'll actually grab a sandwich. It fills you up because it is a proper meal. So I think that's why I'm asking the really basic questions, because even someone like me that I would have considered myself healthy and into fitness, I'm learning new stuff. So
Absolutely.
I just want the listeners to know that as well. So what do you believe is the best way to train? And again, I said to Jess, if you can prove to me I can train less and stay slim, I'll trust you, I'll believe you, which is what's happened. So what do you believe? I know it's different for everybody, but in general, for females, for males, like, what's your view on what's the best way to train?
So you want to have a nice mix of resistance and cardio. At first, what we do is prioritize the resistance sessions, because what we want to do is get strong, and build shape. And that's why the resistance is important. We also want to work on your fitness levels as well. We don't want you to just look good. We want you to have stamina. We want you to have fitness. So we do recommend, some cardio in the week. And not every client will be given that at the start. It depends on the goals. It depends on where they are in starting place, whether that's suitable. But a great routine is having, your resistance sessions in there and your high intensity to sort of spark your heart rate and your fitness levels.
And what I would say to that is, you didn't say then what the goal was. You said, what's the best way of training?
Yes.
Right. So then that changes everything. Okay. So if you used to say someone wants to lose body fat.
Depends on goal.
Ultimately, always like resistance training is not losing body fat. It needs to be in there, but your diet is losing body fat. Remember that, So you can train however you want, right? But optimal, if you just go, Mark, Jess, I want to be optimal. I want to be the best training program. Lift weights 3 or 4 times per week. Watch your diet, and then we can add in the cardio, like you said, if you need to. We have low intensity cardio and high intensity cardio. For anyone listening or watching, simplify your life. Low intensity, just be active, just walk, be active, walk to the shop, walk to your car. Like the best thing in the world, start on 10k steps. You hear us see a lot about it on social media. We portray it, 10k steps, start basic. Yes, you can do more than that. That's a very basic. Lift weights 3 times per week. Then at the end of it is the high intensity. People think it's the opposite way around. It's high intensity, burn calories. No, you don't do that, okay? If you still need to burn a few calories at the end and you want to, obviously, we like to promote fitness. If you want to do both at the same time, that's when the high intensity cardio comes in. Love it. I love Barry's. I teach at Barry's. I love it. It's just people need to understand. I would rather people do it to be a better runner, or be fitter, than to try and burn calories. It's a much easier just not eating an extra 600 calories, at the end of the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to what's your goal. Yeah.
And it's about, I think, enjoying it. And it, again, I think what I realised from the deep questions that I was going 6 times a week to tick 6 boxes, and I didn't really measure my performance. And I thought that was just me. And then because then I get to know the community, I'm realising loads of people are doing that, and I thought it was just me. So it's such a release for me. So I've cut down to 5 training sessions, but actually just going to enjoy myself and have a completely different mindset, and it's so freeing.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, right, is my skill going down, measurements going down? In fact, that'll take care of itself if you follow our plan.
Yeah.
It's, am I getting stronger? Am I getting fitter? Can I run 5k, 10k? Can I like, are my numbers going up in performance as well as down in measurements kind of thing?
Yeah, and a lot of other women as well, like especially, business women and those that have little time with like children, they will often think that they need to be training 5 times a week, or they need to be training 6 times a week or 4 times a week. And what we want to help these women understand is it's not about that. It's not about the number of times you're training in the week. If the goal is to lose body fat, you don't have to always even have the training sessions in there. That's just to get you strong. We can lose weight without having training in there.
And I guess some people aren't bothered. I hadn't even thought about that. I guess some people just want to be slim, don't they? They're not bothered about muscle or tone or
we promote it because again, it's
healthy.
It's longevity. It's you need to be strong for life kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like I had a client today who just on his first call where he's like, right, this is what you do. He's not trained for 3 years, very, very overweight, great guy, he's going to lose a hell of a lot of weight. At the moment, he's walking and eating better.
Yeah.
I'm not no gym sessions at the moment. Because
just change small habits, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember when I'd never been to the gym, cause I was never into fitness. I think the first time I went to the gym I was like 29, and in my head I was like, if I just put my gym kit on and walk in the gym, even if I do 15 minutes 3 times, then it's a habit change. And it's like little building blocks, isn't it? And then you increase. And now I'm like, how did I not go to the gym? And how did I feel good? Because again, Tony Buxton said in the podcast a few weeks ago, muscle keeps you vital. Muscle keeps you long. It gives you fluidity. It's the way you move. All of that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So,
It is.
So exciting at any age. Okay, so now we talk about steps and walking, and there's rumours that Apple started it all, and it's a marketing tool. But I have heard that walking burns a different kind of fat, or fat in a different way to like sprinting and running. Is that a myth?
So it's not a myth. It's just that no one needs to know about it. Like it's not even worth like even thinking about. Right? Instead of thinking what burns most fat or what does, you've got to think about it as everything burns energy. Us talking right now burns a bit of energy. Everything burns energy, right? The harder you work, the more energy you burn, right? But you're either burning loads of energy in Barry's class for a short amount of time, or you can go walking for all day long, stay on your feet, and you're probably going to average out the same. So don't worry about the type of body fat that it's burning kind of thing. Like it's just are you pushing yourself into that calorie balance where you're actually burning more than you're eating, and that's it. Like we can get technical, and yes, you do burn more fat when you're on low intensity heart rate than high intensity, but at the end of the day, as long as you're in that deficit, it all makes up anyway. It all creates that perfect environment. So it's more like, what do you enjoy doing the most? Yeah.
So we've busted loads of myths there, and before we get on to more of the business side of things, there's a lot of talk at the moment about midlife, and I hear ladies all the time saying, I've put on weight due to the menopause, it's gone to my stomach, that's it now, blah blah blah. Now I'm very lucky that my mum is she's basically like Joan Collins, but 20 years younger, and she's tiny, and she is always just maintained this like, so it's never something that's really occurred to me until recently because it's so much in the press. So what do you think, Jess? How can women stay in the best shape of their lives that are possibly on HRT or in the menopause or post-menopause?
And that's a brilliant question because, again, it's similar to the other question around the metabolism. Your body is going through a hormonal shift now. There's changes that are happening in the body. Again, this is about the energy balance. Okay, so obviously going through this change in your life, you're going through a lot of differences in terms of like the symptoms that you're going to be feeling. You're going to be feeling the night sweats. You're not going to be sleeping the same. And what may have happened here is that the energy balance that you have with your training or your movement and now your calories has shifted, and that will be the reason for gaining that weight. It's actually about now like the steps forward from this point. You can always lose weight, you can always lose body fat, and this is just where now the client needs to learn about this. They need to learn about the changes that are happening in their bodies, and it's tough because it's something that it's new to you. You've not been through this before. So what needs to happen here is that you learn about the changes in yourself, and you will need likely more support whilst working through if you are looking to lose weight, and that's where having a coach to help you through this is actually so important.
And give you hope almost that this is just, did they say that, I think the Japanese call it a new spring or something like that.
Right,
That's what they call it. So it's like,
so you,
because it's your
mindset on it. And it's just like you were saying before about getting older, and everyone's like, oh, well, we're getting old now. And they just accept it because, I go to the pub with 3 other guys and they're getting older, so I'm getting older kind of thing. And, oh, we're gaining weight because we're getting older. No, it's because you're not as active, or you're not lifting weights, you're losing muscle, you burn less calories per day, and you're blaming it on other things. So you've got to really just take a harsh truth sometimes and be like, have I slowed down in life?
Have I put the blame on something that is actually, not the thing to be focusing on here?
We're not saying it's not harder. It's not saying, of course, absolutely, life
it's
factors.
harder in other ways because you're dealing with new factors in your life. You're dealing with that hormonal shift. So it may feel harder, but it's not that it can't be done. And clients like Janet are an example of this. You can get in incredible shape after menopause.
I've had clients with diagnosed thyroid issues. You can still, it's just harder. Like it's like, it is what it is kind of thing. Like everyone can gain or lose weight.
And I think once you realise that when you learn about the body and you realise that there are kind of 3 key states that you can be in, like diet, deficit, losing weight, maintenance, staying the same, or surplus, increasing your weight. That's like a very powerful feeling, powerful feeling because you're actually in control. You're always in control of what state you want to be in yourself.
And something again I've heard recently in the podcast, it's in your hands, and I love that phrase. It is in your hands. How you look, how you feel is in your hands.
Absolutely.
And is it Andrea McLean and Nick Feeney at the Anything Is Possible said, what you don't change, you choose. And I thought that was a great.
You're choosing to be overweight at the moment. Not you. It is. It's a choice. Every day you wake up and you make a choice. Do you want to move towards the guy, girl that you want to be, or do you want to stay the same or go backwards kind of thing? And it's just a choice. Even if you don't feel like it's your fault or your education, it is because you've not physically gone out and found what you need.
I think that's it. Like one of the most empowering things is that when you realise that you're actually in control of where you are right now, like you are the reason for where you are right now. So now if there is something like menopause that you think, this is why I've gained weight, let's start taking steps forward away from just focusing on the menopause and actually looking at what is needed to be focused on here. And again, it's the energy balance.
Fascinating. So planning and organisation, Jess's favourite topic. So we talked about fitness transformations, but you guys are huge believers in planning and organisation. Now, this is your job, so you have to fit fitness into your day. What is your advice for people with kids or those working 12 to 16 hours a day?
First of all, I know we've not got kids, but we run 2 businesses, and I do other things as well. So we're very, very, very busy. The busier you are, the more structure you need. You need to plan, and you need to plan when your downtime is, when your busy time is, when your kids' time is. Like the more you plan, the more free time you will have. But ultimately, you need to always plan ahead. You always need to know, and you need to prioritize as well. You need to prioritize your lifestyle of what actually do you want to achieve, right? Because all these people are saying, I want to lose body fat, I want to get in amazing shape, but yet they'll be out on a weekend, or they'll be buying clothes, or they'll be doing something else. Whereas in reality, if you've not got a lot of time, you don't need a lot of time to transform. We just said then 3 hours per week, right? Everyone can do that, and if you can, your life is very wrong. It's not a happy life kind of thing. So we work with extremely busy people, flying around the world every week, businessmen,
in multiple locations. I've got ladies that do weddings, multiple locations per week. I've got a client that's in Italy one day, and the next day she's back in Ireland or a different country. And her life is so hectic, she's not even in the same place. And previously before, she felt that time was the thing that was holding her back, and also not having a structure and routine because of that location shift that she was in every other day. But this is where that planning before the week begins is so vital. So for her, as an example, we will map out the week ahead. So where's she going to be? What sessions can she get in this week? And it's, if there's weeks where the sessions can't be done, that's not a problem. We just adapt around it.
Absolutely.
And for us, because we're busy people too. Like if we did not do that planning side of things at the start of the week, we would not get anything done. We would procrastinate. Tasks that are meant to take, an hour would take so much longer. And the only way to actually, be efficient with your time is to do that pre-planning at the start. And again, the more busy you are, the more multiple things that you're trying to balance, whether that's children, whether that's, after school activities for the kids, your job and your business, like the more you have to manage, the more that structure and planning is so important and vital to be done.
And what we tell people as well is like, if we've like dissected your week, right, and you only have literally minimal hours, then that's your life. You can't say I want the same as a 20-year-old guy who's got no issues, that kind of thing, right? You need to work on what you've got, and we can always get results. It'll just be maybe a bit slow because you can't do as much. But you can always be in control of your diet. That's the one thing you're always in control of. And obviously the output we can build into your lifestyle to make it a lifestyle. At the start, you might think I can't fit everything in. Trust me, over time, we've found because you need this. This isn't what we're doing. Is not for 12 weeks. It's for life. So you either, I always ask a guy or a girl when they come on board, is your life going to stay the same for the next 3 years? They're like, I'm mad busy, Mark. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If it's going to stay the same for the next 3 years, we need to build it around what you are doing now. We can't
Otherwise,
just go,
we stand still.
We can't just blank your diary out and go, right, do this. And on the other argument, if someone said to me, Mark, I blanked everything out for 16 weeks, I would say that if they get to the end, they'll rebound. Because they're not used to the occasions, they're not used to life, they're not used to that. So I actually want them to go through speed bumps and maneuver life issues and stuff, because when they get down there, they'll stay down there. So you need to look at your lifestyle. You need to create changes to promote transformation.
A lot of the guys and girls that join us, like having learned the skills to to plan their time and to plan their weeks, actually become better in terms of time management. They actually have more time. They have more time with the children because actually they're not spending their time on things that weren't actually helping them previously. So we actually see that in most cases that those that join us become better planners, have more time, and actually get better results.
They're actually a lot more present because now they know, instead of before of like, am I doing the right thing? Should I Google this? Should I read this magazine? Should I do this? No, they're going, right, this is what the tick box is this week, as you know. Tick this and forget about fitness. Fitness is our life. It's not your life, right? It's our life. You don't need to know everything that we know. You need to know just enough to get results, and then we want your bandwidth to be completely on your business, completely on your family, completely on your kids, so you can be more present when you're with them.
Yeah, I think that is the big thing. You're taking away that confusion, and so, you just go and do your session without the thinking. So the thing that I love is you talk about powerful productivity and what to plan in your diary. Obviously, like food prep, we all know that that's part of it. But the thing that I'm obsessed with and love is completion month. And I feel like we have to share this with the listeners because I think it's brilliant. So can you talk us through that?
Completion weekend.
Completion weekend. So see, when we start a new month, for us it's just a brilliant opportunity. It's a new exciting month ahead, and a time where we can set new goals in place, and it might be across body, business, health, fitness, and before that new month starts, what we like to do is complete a completion weekend, and this is where we take things from that previous month and we look at, right, okay, what through this month did we complete goal-wise? Let's actually organise our lives before we start setting new goals. So we'll actually go through like the flat, look at things that needed to be thrown away.
Little things that everyone has them, like the drawer with the letters that you put the letters in, the cupboards, the emails that you've not looked at, the stuff, and you'll put it all in, and you write everything down on a piece of paper. Everything that's in your head, in mind. Anything that's storing any bit of bandwidth in your head, and I love this so much.
It's just a full declutter, isn't it?
And it's you look at put it into a list, and there's 3 columns. There's do it, there's delegate it, or there's dump it. And it's like, right, if it needs to be done, you do it that weekend, right? If somebody else can do it, you delegate that task, and if it's none of the above, get it dumped, get it out of your mind, and start afresh the next month. And if you can't do it every month, every quarter especially, you'll have a lot of stuff built up in that quarter.
And then when you do that, it's just like, it's almost like therapy. It's like you've had a cleanse, you feel so good afterwards, and then you're in a great place, and you're in a good frame of mind then to be excited about the next month coming and setting new goals in place for yourself. But that's just something that we like to do, because otherwise things just get on top, things just start rolling, and then everything in your mind is so decluttered and you can't really think ahead.
It's a form of journaling as well, because we'll look back and go, right, what actually went right that this month, right? Did did this tactic work or that, or did we get a result, well, whatever it may be, and then you tweak it, and that's all. So it's progression. It's not just, you know, have a clean house and whatever and throw your clothes out. It's no, actually, like, every month should be progressing. Every month should be, is the business getting better? Are we getting better? Whatever it may be, the goals for you kind of thing.
Because like a lot of people will set goals, but then not actually review them and review the progress that they've made against them. And that is the most crucial part. Otherwise, you're just setting goals and it's not really going anywhere.
I think it's about controlling the controllables. So I think we were just chatting before we started the podcast about with business, sometimes, you know, you are hampered to get your goals because you're relying on other people, recruitment, sales, things like that. I think the one thing about doing the completion weekend for me is that's something we're fully in control of. So, you know, me and Joel, like, we'll carve out that time now to do it. And the amazing thing's been is because the business has been so nuts for the last 3 years, our kind of personal life admin finances have just been pushed one time. And that's the big thing that we've made. I don't know if I've even told you this, made huge changes with since Lifestyle Lean, is that every weekend where we can, we have these couple of hours together. So that's allowed us to move forward. We're moving house and everything, and like, you know, it was funny when we started it. Joel was like, what, we're going to sit down and do planning every weekend because we do that all the time at work. I'm like, no, we need to invest time up front, and then but it really does work. And I think that's what is so unique about your program, is that I didn't realize all that would come with it, like all this other training,
because we never know like what gets portrayed kind of thing. Like it's a weird one because we've got to post about, you know, about aesthetics because people believe that's what they want.
It's the
if we talk about, right, we're going to go into your mind and we're going to help you be the best version of you and push your business. Yeah, they might think it's cool, but like you know, they've not unlocked that part of the mind yet. Whereas once they start getting a transformation, they realise actually, now I'm in control. Like you said about being in control before, I might get guys who are like, right, Mark, I want to be shredded. I want to get 30 kilograms down. Once we've got on the first 10 kilograms, they're not too bothered then because they're in control, right? Now they're like, right, so what's the real issue? Like, what can we attack the real issue now? And that's when they open up. So it's it's interesting what you said that. We might have to kind of like show that we do both, I suppose. But yeah, it is a big part of what we do.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. Like all the, you know, anyone listening is a podcast fan, obviously, because we all love consuming content, don't we? And I think the steps are brilliant from that. It forces you. And then, but yeah, for me, it was all the videos and the learning. Like, I love all of that. So for me, that was a real added value, definitely.
Good.
And now I know that you fluff up behind the scenes. That makes
absolutely.
Okay, so you have this amazing community, and a big thing we talk about is consistency, and obviously it's consistency in what you do for your clients. But building a community is huge. It takes a lot of time. How have you kept that consistency, and how have you built that community?
I mean, our community is so important to us, and really because to get results, like, yes, we can give you the plan, you know, we can give you the training, we can give you the nutrition, but to progress in the best way that you can is actually being around others that are inspiring you on a daily basis. So that has been a huge part of us building the brand, and those in our community are, especially those who are, you know, through the journey and maybe a year or 2 years in, they're actually inspiring the others that have just started. So the community side of things is massive for us, and it takes time to build that community.
Oh, massive! We've been building it since lockdown, kind of thing. And interesting actually. So in lockdown, we started kind of like we created a program called 8 Week Lean, which was like get everyone together in a group. Because the environment dictates success, and people need to be around others, especially in a harsh time like that. And we were like, right, that's one of the best parts about this. Let's you know, put that on steroids kind of thing. Let's grow that. So that's what kicks it off. But as I just said, your environment is everything, and it's something that we look at when someone gets into the program. It's like, is your partner okay with this? You know, have you got friends who love to drag you down the pub, like kind of thing? Like, you need to be around others on the same mission as you, or else we've seen it. Like the guys and girls who do the best in the program are the ones who get involved with the community, because you can tell they've mentally invested themselves. Not just physically,
And those that join the program, you know, they are, you know, around others that are on the same focus, on the same mission. But what we often see is that them being in the community, they've actually made new friends, and they've actually got new connections with that they probably actually connect with more than the people that were in their lives previously. And that's a massive, like, powerful part of the program as well, is that it's getting you around people that are going to help build you up.
So let's come on to the brand build. You've come together, obviously brought together in the universe and building what I believe is a really unique brand proposition, offering a safe space for everybody. And this idea did come in lockdown, which
Yeah.
you've alluded to. How did you come up with that unique proposition? Because it is unique as far as I can see, having the male, female, and
Yeah.
you know, all inclusive.
Yeah, I personally, I've always been into fitness. Like I've just loved it from being young, kind of thing. I've done online kind of coaching for probably eight years now, and it was just a natural movement. So Jess was getting more and more, I suppose, into it and addicted. Kind of like loved it, and we both bouncing off each other. And then we love to show people how simple it can be. We love changing people's lives, so I think the lockdown kind of like forced us into doing something there and then, because in lockdown we did nothing but work. Like we
just grinded the whole lockdown, and like we know it was like lovely weather and sunny, but we didn't see much of that in lockdown.
Me too. I was in my laptop.
Yeah. I remember being stuck inside that day when it was boiling hot, and we had so much work to do, but we're so clear on the vision that we want and we have.
We want people to live our lifestyle, because you know what we educate on here is our everyday. It's what we live and breathe, and we don't feel that that's out there for people to understand. And you know, what we wanted to do is create a program that helps educate, gets in incredible shape, works on performance and fitness, and there's nothing out there like that. So in lockdown, we had, start of lockdown, like many people, we just decided, how do we want to make the use of this time? And we had like days where we were mapping out the business. We worked on like, what is the big hairy goal for the business? Where do we want to be in 5 years' time? Where do we want to be in 10 years' time? And we just really like mapped it out together, and came together with this vision for where we wanted to go. And since then, we've just been growing it.
And so it's so successful now. How many people have you got in the community now? Because I know in the girls, but
got 200 plus, something like that.
It's just phenomenal, amazing. So then you decide to throw something else into the mix, which is lifestyle lean athleisure.
Yeah.
Now I know that building a product is totally different ballgame to building a service-based industry.
Absolutely.
So talk us through that from a blank piece of paper to this gear that you're wearing today.
It's an extension, right? It's an extension. Like we both, in fact, funny story. Before I met Jess, I didn't realise Jess was trying to do clothing anyway.
This was something I started years and years ago. So I started it maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
No, actually longer than that, because we met 9 years ago. So actually would have been like 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that place then, I was wanting to create my own brand, my own sports bras.
Yeah.
And it was something that I was passionate about before kind of then making the jump into fitness.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I just felt at that place that there was nothing that was actually giving women out there like reliable gym wear that makes them feel good, that accentuates the body. And at that place, I wanted to create something different. Since then, we kind of went on the back burner because we focused more on the coaching side. But then we actually came together.
It was always there. In my goal book since I was about 16, it was
really?
I was like, right, I'm going to do this, and it's just got to a certain point where we're like, right, we can actually do this now, whatever, together, financially, whatever it may be. And again, it's just an extension of like how you're feeling, confidence, living an active lifestyle. Like it's not just the clothing for us, it's what that portrays. And for the people who, like, our vision down the line is for everyone who wears it is like actually slightly educated because they follow us. So it's like they actually know the right things to eat, they know they're in control of their body, and they promote an active lifestyle through feeling good in the clothes. So but long story short, it is a very different business to coaching. It's not get someone amazing, get them speaking to the friends. It's very much a product business, and we're learning every single week and every single day.
How have you learned? Because I would like, how have you got that? How have you had the garments made? Like, how does it work?
We was in your shoes about 2 years ago.
In lockdown, again, we did so much research into it. And, from where I tried, years and years ago, I kind of went from there. So I had a lot of learnings from that time, 15 years ago, and started with kind of working on that since. So, it's been a big process. There's been so many mistakes made, as you can imagine.
But everyone who speaks in clothing, they're all like, it's just a mess for the first year. It's just make a mistake, learn. No one kind of like gives you the secrets, because it's like everyone's kind of like everyone's got like the cards to the chest kind of thing. So it's kind of like, here's a little bit of what you need to do, and then you get a little bit of someone else, and you kind of figure out for yourself a little bit, and then the next years get a bit smoother. So that's where we're at now, where it's like the brand is out, the clothing is out, it's selling, we've got a website, it's all out there. Now it's like, okay, now how do we actually keep it consistent, and how do we, bring out new ranges, and
Yeah.
that's where we're at now. So the first thing was like, get it out, we've got the brand, but that's not a successful business. We want it to now scale and go on the bigger scale, yeah.
And with that, it will have needed investment, because obviously you're having to buy a product, whereas obviously a service-based industry is easier to bootstrap.
Yeah.
So what's that? Have you taken investment, or have you invested in yourself?
No, everything's out self-investment. Everything that we do.
Self-funded. We did everything.
Yeah. We just reinvest
Everything that we have, we just put back into the business.
Yeah.
We're self-funded on that. So yeah, we anything we earn goes straight back in, and it's all learnings with coaching and with the clothing, and even for ourselves as well. We're upskilling ourselves all the time. Investing into our own coaching.
Yeah,
this is important.
Yeah. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast, where we'll focus on the future, but this is your dream as a couple. It's all coming to life. You both look amazing, fantastic. Everyone watching on YouTube. Have you guys ever had issues around fitness and the way you look, though? Because looking at you both and you're perfect.
For me, it's more been like a confidence journey.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've seen this on my social media, but in my first job out of university, I was very much bullied, and it was a very difficult time for me, quite soul destroying. And from that point, I was really trying to pick myself back up in terms of confidence. So fitness for me, working on my body, working on my shape, working on my strength, has been about building my own confidence in along the way. So more for me, it's coming at it from a place where I had a really difficult time. I was bullied from my female boss, and now from that hard time that I had, for me, this journey has been about building women's confidence to feel amazing in their bodies too.
To conclude the podcast, there's going to be some people out there that, generally don't have the funds to invest in something like this. So if you were going to give someone like 5 top tips that they can do off their own steam, what would they be?
Yeah. First things first is I totally get that they're saying this, but just prioritize. Just if you're if you are spending money on alcohol or going out, and you
look at where your finances are going,
and do you really want the goal, or are you just saying that you want the goal, kind of thing? Yeah. But away from that, 100%, there's stuff that everyone can do.
Yeah.
Number one, it would be movement, right? Yeah. So it would be get out, move as much as you can do. Number two, it would be consistent diet.
Healthy, a simple, consistent diet.
I think consistency more than obviously healthy, but if you can eat consistent and you can move, you're in charge of your scale, you're in charge of the body fat, right? You can do that. Number 3 is resistance, so always strength train. Number 4, I would say be around others who are doing better than you, or you want to be like, kind of thing. And then 5 would be sprinkle on top any cardio or enjoyment activity. When I give guys some cardio, that might be 5-a-side football, it might be sports, it might be rugby, it might be running, it might be it's what you enjoy doing. But that in a nutshell, it might not be optimal, like the perfect numbers, but if you have all that in your week, you know where you're going far wrong whatsoever.
And in the future, like, who would be, let's put it out in the universe, who's a dream brand collab for you guys? If you could work with any brand, who would it be? You have to choose one each.
I think we would, it depends if it's coaching or clothing, but we would like to work with kind of a fitness event, wouldn't we? So someone like High Rocks or a marathon organizer in some way. That's where we want to go. We want to focus more on fitness and performance.
There's not like a certain brand of clothing that we would like to link up with, kind of thing. Like we just want to be partnered with big life events, kind of thing, because that's our audience. Our audience is people who want to be healthy and be the best version of themselves through pushing sporting events. So it'd be ideal, wouldn't it be incredible if we can help people not only push the event, but then give them clothing for that, and just have like an all-in-one encompassing kind of like lifestyle. And that's what we want to give to people and show them that it's here for them, kind of thing.
Okay, so Jess and Mark, this is called the Anything is Possible podcast. Individually, what does anything is possible mean to you? And it can be to do with anything.
So for me, anything is possible. I genuinely believe, because of my life so far and what I've experienced and where I am now, is that if you actually put reps in, and you repeatedly try and do something, and you repeatedly do that over and over and over and over again, you will get good at it. You will be able to become good at it, regardless of what it is. For example, for me, running has been something I've been getting into in a massive way recently. 10 years ago, I didn't run, at all, and now my times are pretty good. Happy with my times. But again, that was something that I never used to do like before, and really that's just been me putting the reps in, me working on that. And again, starting this business, it's something that I'd never thought I'd ever be able to do. Never had the confidence to do that when I had my first job with my female boss. But you actually putting yourself out there, putting the reps in over and over, you will be able to achieve, anything. You will be able to make yourself good at anything and be able to achieve anything.
Yeah, agreed. Dan Rhodes, the kind of 19-year-old entrepreneur that we had on the show, said that if it's been done before, you can do it. Yeah, she's so simple, really, but
absolutely. For me, it's just knowing. I know I will get where I want to get to. I don't need to know how or why. I just know I will get there. And it's just about, again, every single day, are you just putting the work in? Because it's not about even getting there. It's like the person that you're developing as you get there. We say that to the clients all the time. The result is not the result. You'll always keep pushing the goalpost further. So the result is the person you become on that route. So as long as I'm going for that goal, the goal I might end up with is just me being this amazing guy who's worked hard to get there. But regardless, I know I'm going to get there. And it's just having that self-belief.
Yeah. Well, you two individually are amazing people, but together, complete magic. I absolutely love what you're doing. I know this is just the start of, the people that you're helping. It's just going to grow and grow. Thank you to you from me for being, I'm very new into the journey, but making so many amazing changes that, are not, if people think it's all about aesthetics, it's so not. It's about mindset. But thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for everything you're doing for everyone in your community, and I will see you all soon.
Thank you so much, Harley. Thank you, darling.